Hey, what's up, everybody? Check this out. Okay, I got Matt DeGoyer. That's what I said.
Yeah.
So anyway, check out the video that we just shot over at his lawn. It was awesome over on the N-ext DIY channel. Link right there. You can check that out. He's got a killer spot, but he is helping me today because we have an extra special project. Now, this is not his lawn. It's not.
No.
All right, check it out. This was a couple of quick little rakes, again, with the Groundskeeper. This really didn't take too much. We were just using the width of the tines to pull this out. And as you can see here, this is just mainly dead grass blades. Now, here's why. This is a Kentucky bluegrass turf area. So this is obviously gonna go dormant in the wintertime. Us being in Utah, this has to go to sleep. It hibernates, it comes back out. There is always going to be a particular amount of shed that leaf tissue is going to do. What we're going to get into and show in a minute is on a shortcut grass lawn, turf, bluegrass, you're not going to get this buildup. It's a totally different story. We used two different rakes just then, Groundskeeper 2 and an actual thatch rake. What I want to show you in here, there's a difference between the grass blade litter and what is technically thatch. And if you look here and see this, we have root structure that's coming out also as part of this litter. And that is your actual thatch layer. If you're able to come out and take a small, light raking across your ground and pull piles of material, you're probably going to have to do something mechanical. All right, so we're back over here on the beautiful lawn. And I do mean beautiful lawn. This place is gorgeous. Now, the reason I had to jump over to the other place was to show you what a true acute buildup of material really looked like, because there isn't one here. And the reason there isn't one here is because this grass is maintained at a 1/2 inch height. And if we take any one of these tools back here and use it, we're not gonna get anything except potential damage to the existing turf. Maybe we're gonna cut the blades, and that's really all you're going to see. So showing you the other turf where it's coming out of dormancy, where we've got a lot of dead matter, now we're talking about having a problem. So let's talk about what you can do with it. This is not a video about this machine, not at all. I'm gonna link down below all of the videos from the guys that I know that have done reviews and comparisons with this Sun Joe Scarifier Dethatcher. It's something that you can pick up for next to nothing, cheaper than you can rent a Power Rake from Home Depot. So that's why a lot of people are using it, and they're really super effective. So then, as we go down the line, we've got an actual thatch rake back here. We've got just a standard sort of like topsoil rake, you know, something that can move material around. We've got a Groundskeeper 2 back here. And then further back, there's sort of a similar cousin to a Groundskeeper, which is sort of an adjustable combo leaf rake slash thatch rake. It can kind of do both. So let's talk about what actual thatch is compared to what this litter material is that we're really pulling out. Ooh, she's a beaut, Clark. Let's take a look. Now, I'm going to point out a few things here. You can tell that this has been top dressed with sand multiple times. But right under here, just below the crown of the turf, is where the thatch layer exists. Right here. This is a tangle of roots and decaying matter that feed soil life and eventually become topsoil. All of this little bundle right in here. Now you can see this, I'm gonna just kind of crumble this up a little bit and show you in what good shape this particular material is. He's got good roots going down deep, running down well below 6 inches, just because that's where I cut it off. And you can see that there's absolutely no dead matter built up inside here. Excellent plant to soil contact. Nothing to prevent water or nutrients from getting down to the soil below and to the root zone. When you run a Power Rake or a Dethatcher, you are cutting down into this layer and not only damaging the growing turf, but ripping out this particular section and tearing out chunks of roots that would eventually become more organic matter for your soil. So that's not necessarily a good thing. Get that guy back in there. never ever know. So it's important to check and see what your actual level is of dead matter in the lawn before you go aggressively at it with a power raker or dethatcher. And it's really as simple as taking any one of these rakes, and I would say the looser the tine the better, because you don't really want to be doing any damage, and just raking it across the turf and seeing what kind of piles that you pull up. Once you start to build up too much dead matter, there is a decay rate that the soil cannot do. It just will not take in any more than it possibly can. So that matter will begin to mat down. When it mats down, it's going to cause a barrier that is going to breed more anaerobic bacteria underneath it and not allow airflow or water penetration or even nutrient penetration to get down below that layer. So what happens? Your natural growing plants have to have those things. They need it to survive, and so they're going to do everything that they can to get to that food. So rather than have your roots grow down and grow deep and chase water, they're going to chase the water that's at the surface, and that's going to be a problem. All right, so you've seen the rakes. This is gonna be a mechanical version, and really I think these only like $100 or something, I don't even know. But let me show you what's inside. Ooh, surprise. These right here. This is going to cut down into the turf and really yank and pull and grab material out and really not only get the dead matter out, but also yank a lot of the live material as well, which includes roots and soil and everything. And you really need to be careful with that. It's important to take a minute, check and see what your layers look like before you run a piece of equipment like this over the top of it. And this is particularly light duty. To give you a story, when I owned my lawn care company, I did not do any dethatching whatsoever. Now, I'm going to point out one thing to emphasize. I did not do that. It was a service that we offered, and we subbed that out to a different company to go and pull loads, and I mean trailer loads of matter out of people's lawns, particularly new customers. The reason was their old programs would have been very standard in the area where I was out in Reno, Nevada, running 4 or 5 pounds of nitrogen a year, pushing a ton of top growth, watering as much as they possibly can, and the grass just eventually got so thick it was like a mat, but more than 50% of it was dead matter, and that's not great. So I would sub out a company, they'd come and haul that material away, which really caused a dilemma for me personally, because at that time I was really working on developing a series of products that would help to alleviate all of that issue. I did not ever like the idea of, while professionally you could take that and haul it to a compost bin at a dump or somewhere along those lines, a lot of people take that matter, they throw it into plastic bags, and it just ends up in a landfill, and that's not doing good for anybody. When the goal is to recycle every bit of nutrient that you ever apply and continue to get the benefit of it as time goes on. So really what we want to see is that the cut rate and the takedown rate of your soil, whatever matter's being cut off the lawn and being trimmed back down, is getting used up properly. And that does require multiple things. It requires proper feeding without a ton of forced growth. It requires watering properly, and it requires mowing regularly in order to accomplish those things. So this is another option as well. Now, the reason that I actually developed this particular material was for everything I was just talking about. Dethatch is best used with a good maintenance program. It's not something that is going to cure, fix, or otherwise chew through a significant amount of dead matter or thatch that is laying on the surface. That's really not what it's designed for. It's designed for maintenance. So if you are clipping and you are doing a good job with it, and you maybe start to see a little buildup, or perhaps you had to skip a week and you've got extra material that's starting to build up, this is a wonderful option for you because it uses digestive enzymes to basically break down everything a little faster and return it to soil food. So that's one thing. Now, a way that we can look at this in a little bit more of a, call it a macroeconomic scale, is we can go to a compost bin and take a look at how things start to chew down in a much grander scale but in the same fashion as to what's happening underground when you're able to leave that material down and allow the soil to take it back in and feed your plants. So this compost pile has a little bit of everything in it. And when I say a little bit of everything, it's had excess grass clippings. When they come off, if there's been too much time between mowings, this is a good place to throw grass clippings. They don't go to the dump, they end up in the pile. Wood clippings from trees, anything that's been sort of mulched back, everything is in here. And this is a fully living, breathing system, and the worms are very happy about it. They're easy to find. So this matter, which once was all live, is now composting down and being utilized by the earth eventually, as this gets spread back around, to become highly nutritive food. You've got this beautiful lawn, right? You want to make sure that it continues to be beautiful, and you want to keep it beautiful for a long time. The less that you can disturb what's growing and just encourage what's there, the better it's going to be. But here's the big tip and the big takeaway, and what everybody needs to consider every year before your cool season lawn goes to bed. Chop it down, cut it down, and as you're leading into wintertime, cut it lower and lower and lower. And take that material and put it back in a corner somewhere if you're going to bag it. If not, let it just chop, 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 chop. Now you can look and see what happened. When my personal lawn went to bed long, I had to burn it all down. That grass was more than 5 inches tall when the snow came, and it was not good. That was not good. So I kind of had to start from scratch. So the longer your grass is when it goes to bed, the more problem you could potentially have in the springtime. So it's important to make sure that through the fall, after you come out of the heat of summer, you start to take it down and take it down and take it down, and you won't have to go through these extreme measures like dethatching, power raking, and all of this other stuff. So that's it. I'm gonna keep enjoying this sunny day, and I will talk to you guys real soon. See ya.